In 2015, the richest nations in the world pledged 500 billion to support some of the world's most vulnerable nations from the devastation of climate change. But that 500 billion sadly hasn't materialized. I'm joined today by Racquel Moses, CEO of the Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator. She is also UN Global Ambassador for Climate Change, and she is a great friend of Virgin Unite and the Elders. Racquel is now with all of these groups in Glasgow to meet with the world leaders to demand that they honour these commitments. Racquel, so lovely to have you here today. Could you please do me something and explain to us the background to that 500 billion pledge and what has occurred since then?
Yeah, so the developed nations promised $100 billion a year towards climate finance. That hasn't materialized, and now they're projecting, well, we'll meet that commitment by 2023, and that's just, you know, in the same period, in that same time that you're mentioning from 2015 to now, $3.3 trillion has been spent on fossil fuel subsidies. And if we are really serious about climate and making the changes, then that can't be the case. It can't be with one hand. We can't find, you know, I don't want to say a measly $500 billion, but compared to the size of the problem, $500 billion when you're spending $3.3 trillion on fossil fuel subsidies, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. What would honouring the commitments mean in reality to those most vulnerable nations of the world?
It would mean that we're able to adapt to the changes that are already taking place. You know, there are roads that need to be moved. There are seawalls that need to be built. There is infrastructure that needs to be hardened and made more resilient. There are early warning systems that need to be put in place. There are solutions that we need to support entrepreneurs to develop with, you know, coral bleaching or finding new ways to provide cooling in the region. There are so many things that we need to do that we just don't have either the money or the fiscal space to provide.
Yeah, it's a long list of things. Those 100 billion, I didn't realize it was a year. That's amazing. Yeah, it makes such a difference to all those countries. On behalf of the countries of the Caribbean, you've said, we are incredibly vulnerable, but we are innovative and ready to deliver solutions. We just don't have the added capacity to take on initial debt to solve the problem that we didn't cause. And I just love that drive, and I love that commitment to innovation. What are the sort of key messages that you're striving to get across to those world leaders while you're there in Glasgow at COP?
The thing is that, you know, we're not here just hat in hand. First of all, we are asking for the funding because these are problems that came to us, that not that we contributed to. But on top of that, I attended a session with the Caribbean Development Bank yesterday, where they developed a vulnerability index to be able to price finance so that the most vulnerable nations have access to concessionary finance, because most of the countries in the Caribbean don't have access to concessionary finance because we're considered too wealthy. But that does not take into consideration the devastation that we face and how we are continuously on the back foot because we're having to build from a position of, you know, losing everything and starting over. And that's just not just. We have also developed the resilience scorecard with a task force from the Islands Resiliency Action Group. And in doing that, we are helping to funnel philanthropic dollars to the places where they are needed most. So we're providing a very clear map of these are the things that are required, and this is the place where the funding needs to be put to build the resilience in the region. So we're not just coming, you know, oh, tell us what to do. No, we have ideas, we have solutions, we have projects. All we need is for you to meet your commitment.
And that would be absolutely the right thing to do as well.
Yeah.
You've said before that you refuse to believe that anything other than positivity will come out of Glasgow because there is no other option. Now that you're there in Glasgow, are you feeling positive?
I am actually. You know, I've seen such tremendous momentum on the side of the private sector. I mean, we've always seen Virgin Unite and Virgin Group be very, very active, but now we're seeing a lot of other people follow suit. And it's inspiring, it's heartwarming, it's incredible. We're seeing a lot of from banking to other industries just jumping in, and we're delighted because where the world leaders are not filling their commitment. The private sector is certainly filling the gap, but there's certain things that only the leaders can do, and we need to hold them accountable.
Yeah, well, that is great to hear that the private sector is stepping up. Do you feel that it is going to be more than just talk and there will be action?
Well, that is exactly what we are advocating for. We need to see, after the first month after COP, 10 milestones to meet the commitments by COP27. So if it is that you're saying, okay, I'm going to increase my renewable energy, I'm going to reduce my carbon emissions, I'm going to increase climate finance, break that down. What needs to happen in the next 12 months to make that happen? If they can provide those milestones by the first month following COP, then we can track those to delivery to say by next COP, how much progress has been made. And we can say, okay, in January, who's ahead, who's behind? February, who's ahead, who's behind? Because the way that we have been doing it has not been working. And we cannot continue to have these conversations without the requisite action to follow.
Well, how wonderful that you're there. Thank you for everything that you're doing, and well done for coming up with the brilliant solutions to make it easier for everyone to say yes and make a difference to all of these countries.
We are incredibly grateful for Virgin and the support that you guys have provided in every way. I mean, we would not be here without your support, and I'm so thankful, which is why I would never miss an opportunity to talk to you, because it just wouldn't be possible without your help.
Well, thank you very much. It's something we feel very passionate about, so it wouldn't be possible without you either. So I thank you for everything.
Great stuff. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.